So it's been a long time coming, but the PS5 Pro update for Gran Turismo 7 is almost here. Kazunori Yamauchi has announced the next update. Yes, there's going to be the usual cars, most of them Japanese, most of them probably like 2000s family hatchbacks, but it's going to be the PS5 Pro update that I think is going to define Gran Turismo 7 for the next couple of years, even if you don't have a PS5 Pro. So here's what we all want. On a PS5 Pro, if they want to sell consoles, if they wanted to make us feel like we didn't waste our money when we went out there and spent $700 on the PS5 Pro, only to see it discounted like within a week at Argos in the UK, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like I've wasted some money, but this is what we want to see. We want to see more cars in single player. Like, show us what the PS5 can do. And it should be pretty easy now to have 20, 24 car grids. Now, I know so many of you are very well informed and you'll know that the PS5 Pro doesn't have that much of a better CPU, but it's not about that. Gran Turismo 7 is a cross-gen game. Gran Turismo 7 is playable on the PS4, which is a console that came out in 1066. It's like properly old. The PS5 Pro is an opportunity to have a build of GT7 that's unleashed, that we know it's what it can do. You look at Forza Motorsport, you've got big lobbies. You look at even games like the Crew Motorfest, you've got like, what, 30 cars in racing the Crew Motorfest? And that's not even a simulation. So GT needs to have these big grid races. That's what we see on TV when we're watching a big GT3 race. When we're looking at the Nürburgring 24 hours, they're a humongous grid. So that needs to come in the PS5 Pro update. We need to see significant and relevant graphical updates. I don't particularly care too much about 8K. Hands up in the comments if you have an 8K TV. Someone's going to say it. I probably don't believe you. Let me know what model you have. Most of us don't have 8K TVs. We want to see better graphics in 4K. Don't just palm it off and be like, oh, it's an 8K mode. You know, a lot of phones these days have 8K recordings and you look at it and the frame rate's terrible. So we want to see that buttery smooth 4K 60 FPS. I'm a big advocate, by the way, for high frame rate. I made a lot of content, and I'll put it at the end of this video, of 120 FPS GT7, exposing things a lot of people didn't know. Even Digital Foundry, I think, got it wrong if you look at the videos that were coming out at the time. But it's 4K 60 where most people are. Make sure to subscribe over here, by the way, if you want some independent opinion and analysis like this. It's really 4K 60 that is a home territory. And at the moment, games like Forza Motorsport, games like the Crew Motorfest, games like F124 are offering big graphical increases. In fact, on the PS5 Pro, Gran Turismo 7 has been beaten to the punch in being the powerhouse on graphics in racing. And I think that's unacceptable. I have a feeling Kaz is going to think that's unacceptable as well. You're looking right now at GT7 on the PS5 Pro. I think pretty much all the footage here in this video is shot on the PS5 Pro before the patch comes out. And it's a real own goal that GT weren't able to be like, this is the definitive experience. I think it's been confusing. I think some of the biggest YouTube, even Super GT, was doing side by side and saying, oh, maybe there's a difference. I don't think there's a difference. So 4K 60, we want better graphics as well. Ray tracing. It's quite a subtle point, this one. Yes, we know that the update is going to bring ray tracing in-game. But I want to ask you an honest question, and think about this honestly. When you've watched a replay in Gran Turismo 7, how often have you genuinely noticed or even thought about ray tracing? And I bet you probably haven't, or I don't really, because ray tracing, yes, it works in a completely different way, but the end result can be quite similar. So I feel like Gran Turismo 7 need to show off ray tracing. They need to show off how good it looks in single player. I think they need to do some crazy neon lighting on tracks. They need to have some variants of the tracks to show them off in the best lighting condition, add some new lighting. They need to add dynamic weather and dynamic time of day to every track, even if it's not completely meteorologically accurate, like the stars not exactly in the same position. We don't care, Kaz. It's okay. We give you permission. Just have it so we can race in dramatic conditions. So we're going to look at it. You can see here in PSVR 2, have a look at the reflection of my purple logo on my race suit onto the wheel and even onto the dials. This is PSVR 2 on PS5 Pro. Look at that reflection. We want to see more like that where we notice it. We want to go through tunnels where there's flickering light, things at high speed. So I think that needs to be added. Lake Louise has some incredible potential for lighting here. Dramatic sunsets, the purple lighting, show it off on the PS5 Pro, make us feel good that we've got a PS5 Pro. And I think they should add other PS5 Pro features as well and be proud about it. In PSVR 2, you'd be mistaken for even knowing that PSVR 2 exists in the menu system. Obviously, you have the incredible simplicity that whenever you jump in a car in PSVR 2, you're just automatically in the headset and in the cockpit, and I think that's incredible. Yes, there's a few cars it doesn't apply, maybe that Dodge SRT, whatever it is. I heard some of the VGTs don't have it, but by and large, you end up in the cockpit. But they don't have any VR specific modes really they shout about. Yes, you have the VR showroom. Yes, really hidden away, you have the VR replay that I imagine half of the people who have PSVR 2 just won't know about because it's not shown. It's not their fault. It's just not shown. So I think they should have some special modes for the PS5 Pro where they show it off. Don't know what that could be. Maybe some, I don't know, physics or something. But the PS5 Pro is meant to be about graphics. What you're seeing here, this is ray traced. This is a replay in PS5 Pro at 30 frames a second, except when you're in a cockpit, it changes to 60, which is another thing they're inconsistent about. So we want to see more of that. Now, I've got another out there suggestion. I'm going to get a lot of heat for this because I know there's two schools of thought. I think we should have more licensed series of cars in Gran Turismo 7. I'm old enough to remember GT having these big licenses like NASCAR and stuff like rallying and stuff like that. And I feel like that is a key maybe to showing why the PS5 Pro is a purchase people should be thinking about if you've got GT7. Because being in the really realistic, bringing in that ray tracing, the very best graphics, photorealistic, like this is the best representation of a touring car race, of a DTM race, of a IMSA race, whatever it may be. Look, we know Automobilista 2 has IMSA license, iRacing has IMSA license, Le Mans Ultimate obviously has exclusive WEC license, Touring Cars is up for grabs as well, I think, in R Factor 2. So there's loads of licenses all over the place. I would love Gran Turismo to pick something up because we have this kind of like messy system at the moment in GT where you enter a race and it's all like random cars. I'd love to see a little bit more structure. I don't think there's any race you can do in the game, correct me if I'm wrong, where you have a representative field that matches onto a real life series. Like even if you choose a GT3 race, you're going to get the the concept cars there, like my Peugeot RCZ Group 3, and the Group 1 is even more messed up. Same with rallying, you've got these like fake imaginary rally cars like my Peugeot RCZ. So I think they need to bring in that realism. Those are my thoughts on PS5 Pro, what we want to see. We're in this amazing period right now where we just don't know what's possible. We don't know what they're going to bring, but they are listening. They do watch these videos, by the way. They watch these videos. So put in the comments what you want to see in PS5 Pro, and make sure you check out these other videos here that I mentioned on 120Hz and also GT7 on PS5 Pro at the moment. Make sure to subscribe as well, and I'll see you next time.